What's going on, everybody? This is Coach Reg, aka Mr. Intensity, and my job is to invoke thought and help awaken the world's consciousness one person at a time. Hopefully that person is you. Now, I got a lot of emails and then people ask me about how do I transition my kids to be vegetarian while they're going to public school, because obviously the school doesn't favor being a vegetarian. As a matter of fact, most places don't favor being a vegetarian. So how do I transition my kids and wean them off of meat? Well, let's take it a step further, because the reason why I did that is to understand what's going on in the meat. Now, once you understand what's going on in the meat and a lot of the food and what it actually does to your kids, you'll understand that you kind of have to take them off of the meat. Now, I'm not talking about grass-fed meat, because, see, meat is not really a bad thing. It's the way you get it. It's what happens to the animal before you get it, and what they put into the animal, before it actually gets to the supermarket, what happens to the meat. And you have to think about that. So what I did, I wrote down a list of about 10 things, and I took it a step further than the meat, because it's not just public school, it's the society that we live in today. When it comes to, raising our children in a society that's constantly attacking them, especially young black males, you have to understand, you have to help them build up their mental armor, because the thing is, they want our minds. They want our children's minds. They got a lot of our minds, but they want our children's minds. And if they got your mind 9 out of 10, they're going to probably get your children's mind as well. So there's 10 things you probably could do to stop them from getting your children's mind that will help you understand not just being a vegetarian, but to be healthy and to be strong overall. Now, the first thing is I tell my kids a lot of truth, a lot of what's going on. The kids, they're under attack, and society doesn't care whether they're 6 or 16. They will give them drugs and put arsenic in their vaccines regardless. So being that, you're cheating, I'm going to pretty much tell you, my children, about what's going on around. Now, I don't get too in-depth with it, but I do get in-depth with it. Now, people are like, well, why do you tell your kids that? Well, why do kids watch scary movies? And why do kids watch murder and torture on TV? Or why listen to hip-hop? You just talk about killing people. Well, being that they're already exposed to this stuff, let's expose them to the actual truth. It starts with school. And you have to understand, that's the earliest point you can actually get to your children, in school. Now, when a child goes to school and they learn somebody else's history, and all they know about their history is slavery. But what before slavery? What happened? Who were before slavery? This is what they don't want you to know. So I have to teach them what happens before slavery. And I quiz them every single day about it. I give them little facts here and there every day. And I quiz them on it to make sure they retain the information. Because what happens with us is we don't know our greatness. All we know is that we were enslaved, and that's all we could ever be. That's all you think that we'll ever be, is slaves. And we won't be slaves like chains, but we'll be chained mentally. And you got to understand that point. Now, when a child is being made to or taught to be something different than the average, the status quo of what you see in school of, glorifying rap and fashion and being cool, probably being cool is one of the worst things that ever happened to it, because we're too cool for school. We're too cool to actually learn our history. We're too cool to actually be a leader because we want to fit in. If you look at the way things are going, if a new pair of sneakers come out, I gotta get those sneakers. I gotta get those Jordans. Even though they came out 20 years ago and he's charging twice the amount because your homie has them, you gotta have them too. Now, being that we're in that time, your children have to know being different is okay. And not being a follower is okay. And it's very hard to show them that if you're not being different as well. Now, you have to give these children a chance. Maybe you don't think you're different, but at least help the kids feel like they're different and give them examples of people who are different and leaders in society, because there are going to be two things, a follower or a leader. And I prefer my kids as a leader. The reason why is because leaders shape society. Leaders change things. Leaders build generational wealth. Leaders do all these great things, but all leaders overcome a tremendous amount of adversity. Anybody you ever seen, that became great, they overcame a lot of adversity, which in the end built them to becoming what they were. Now, if you teach children at a younger age about what's going on, about who they can be, about who they were, about where they really come from, they'll start to get more confidence in the abilities that they have, not just being an entertainer or an actor or a singer or a dancer or an athlete. Now, it's not bad to be all this stuff, but to think that's all you can be is bad, because they don't think they have the intelligence. They got to entertain somebody at all times, which is what they made us as before, entertainers. To laugh at us, to laugh, to watch us and marvel over it. But we're much more than that. And when you teach them this stuff, they start to have confidence that they can do things that are different than most people, and being different is okay. So when my kids go to school and they have, their sandwich and their their fruit, and their friends laugh at them, they already know that this is going to happen, so they're prepared, and they laugh back at them because they know they're eating trash and they're eating junk, and childhood obesity is at an all-time rise. The next thing is the big thing is generational wealth. Here's the thing. We have all these companies out there that have been around forever, probably since your parents were kids. Firestone, was it Rothschild, Goodyear, all these, Rockefeller, all these companies that have old money, because their grandpops worked for it. And the fact that we're the biggest consumers in the world, we're the biggest consumers. We buy the most stuff. Black people, we buy the most stuff. Being that we do that, we need to understand that we have true power, but where do we put our money? Now, I live in a community that has 5 dollar stores. What is the purpose of dollar stores like this in the black community? So we'll leave the black community. We'll go to their community, up their prices of their community to live, so we can't afford to live there. They'll make all the nice stuff to where they live, and then we give them all our money, and we come back to our community with nothing, and our community has nothing. Meanwhile, our community plummets while their community rises, and we what? Back in the 1960s, I'll give you a little history. Integration was probably one of the worst things that ever happened to us, because we were actually on an uprise. And when we integrated with them, that gave them an opportunity to get our money, and it's still happening to this day since we integrated. Facts. Look it up. If you don't agree with me, hit this like, get back to me later, but look it up. Alright? Now, this intensity brand. A brand is probably one of the greatest things you can have in a family, because it's something you can pass down. If you are a parent and all you do is stay fresh and your kids walk around looking bummy, that's bad business. If you're a parent and you know how to invest, you know how to save money, and you know how to manage your money, and your children don't know how to do that, and you haven't started teaching your children, you're being selfish and you're not helping your children. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about morals. I'm talking about discipline. I'm talking about all things that's going to make your children in evolution, but you're not, instead of devolving, because your children are supposed to be the better version of you. But here's the thing. A lot of us forget that we have to teach our children to be the better version of them, of us. Alright? All these companies like Rothschild and Goodyear and Firestone, all that stuff, these companies have taught their children, about money. They have sent them to the best schools because they could afford to. And they're not stuck in the system. But us, all we do is buy, and we don't build, and then we're doing the same cycle over and over again. So what I do is I don't let my children watch bad TV. Right now they're watching National Geographic, and they're taking notes and they're doing a book report for me, because it's a snow day where I'm at. So they're home, and I have them doing a book report every single time they watch TV. I use cable for a good thing, not for a bad thing. They don't listen to music. Let me tell you about music. Now, music is one of the only things that can bypass the frontal lobe of your brain and take it to the subconscious without any defense. It can go right through it, right? Now, this is the reason why a lot of wealthy people listen to classical music, and they go to these, these symphonies, and these beats and these tones bypass it, and in the end makes them more intelligent. That's why you say you put classical music on the pregnant woman's belly while she's pregnant. It makes the baby smarter in the end for better brain development. Now, what do you think hip hop does? What do you think it does? Look at people in hip hop. If you're singing and rapping about murdering people and girls and women and gold and cars, what do you think is going to happen? The kids are going to want to kill, murder, have women and have gold and not really understand the true purpose, and then they'll become targets. And the last thing I want my kids to be is targets. So you gotta go a little deeper than that when you raise kids. Now, I'm not telling you how to raise your kids. You're free to do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm telling you how I raise my kids and why I do it. You can use my experiences and you can implement this stuff within your own family. But this is what I do with my children to help you understand why I made them vegetarian, because some people don't agree with it. Now, when they go with family won't agree with it. They might think that you're being unhealthy. Okay, meat is not a bad thing. The meat they serve here that is not grass-fed is a bad thing. I love meat. I struggle with meat every day, with eating it. That's why I eat meat this stuff sometimes, just if I have a meat craving. Meat is a brain food. That's why in ancient Kemet, they ate meat because it helped the brain out. So there's a lot of good things in meat, but the problem is that the way you get it nowadays is bad. And you gotta find a grass-fed place if you still want to eat meat. So I didn't stop eating meat by choice. I stopped eating meat, stopped them eating meat because it's actually freaking poison. And being that it's poison, I don't want to give poison to my children. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the biggest things. Now the next thing is we watch things, right? The next one up is hidden colors. What? Why are you getting your kids to watch hidden colors? Why are you getting your kids to watch violence all day? Do you even monitor what your kids are watching? Do you know how easy it is to get on the internet and find something that they ain't supposed to be watching? Back in the day, you want to find a porn station, you had to order it. Now you can just go around with your cell phone and go right there and you can go ahead and get it and you can watch it all day. They could be meeting people, you don't even know what's going on. You gotta monitor your kids and what they watch. So what I do, I just turn the TV off and I make sure it's off. And I'm pretty much close enough to make sure it's not on. Right, I unhook the cable box, I take the cable box out of their room. Whatever, But whatever they watch is going to be educational, and they also read. I used to hate reading when I was a kid. I couldn't stand it because I wasn't forced to read, so I didn't have that habit. So when I became a teenager and adult, reading was very uncomfortable for me. So I make my children read at a young age. My oldest son can read books like this thick in like 3 days. That's how fast and good he reads. Now working on his comprehension, he can read the words, but let's work on his comprehension. So that's what we do, right? My youngest son is getting better with reading. He's a little slower when it comes to learning, so we gotta, work with him a little slower. But they're getting it, and they do reports, and I want to make sure they comprehend things. But you must use examples of other people if you're not that person, or even be an example yourself. It's nothing worse than a parent that do as I say and not as I do because they're watching you. I saw this Instagram meme, saying to the father said to his son, he said to his son, watch your step. The kid said back to the father, well, you watch your step because I'm following your footsteps. So your children are watching what you do. All right. So it comes down to that. The next one is I tell my children, if you're going to either lead this world or you're going to follow it. So you got to understand, followers are not remembered. Followers don't really change much. Followers follow the person who's leading. That's what I want you to be. I want you to be a leader. I want you to be somebody that people follow. Like, I want you to follow my example. I've overcome a tremendous amount of adversity and a tremendous amount of hate from my own hometown. I don't let that shit stop me. I don't let it stop me at all. Because it's a part of my story and it's necessary. Anybody that you want to do something great and different and you want to step outside the box, you're going to overcome adversity. People aren't going to like it. People are going to disagree with you. People are going to hate you. I love it because it's a part of what makes me the man I am today. I love proving people wrong. I love to overcome adversity. I love to piss people off. This is who I am. I'm not going to stop who I am because you don't like me. And you got to understand, you tell your kids they can't stop their greatness because somebody doesn't like them, because somebody teases them. You got to understand, you got to learn how to block that stuff out. Because I can guarantee you, if you instill these beliefs in your children, they will become 10 times the man or the woman that you are right now. And that's what you want. You want to be an old person, and you want to look at your children, and they're leading their part, and they're doing their part in the world. And you're proud of them. You're taking care of you, not putting you in a nursing home. See what I'm saying? The next one is I work them out daily, right? Because childhood obesity is on an all-time high. So I make them get outside because a lot of kids don't get outside. They do this. They get inside. They get inside the tube, get inside the PS3, get inside the Xbox. So I make them get outside, drop 100 jump shots, run laps around. Do that kind of stuff. Explore nature. Play with sticks like we used to do. Play with dirt. Play in the creek. Do that kind of stuff. Go outside. Trust me. Get the kids outside. The next one is I let them know that everybody that does something is not, like, it's the being in the majority is not the greatest thing in the world. If everybody doing it, that means something wrong with it. Everybody doing it is something wrong with it. Something going on. It's easy to get the mind do certain things. I build them up every day, and it's not going to be easy. If you have older kids, it's going to be even harder because they're stuck in their ways. My kids are 6 and 9. My son is 6 and 9. They live with me. They're 6 and 9. I have a daughter as well, but my son is 6 and 9. They live with me. My daughter's 2. She's young, right? But these two here, they're 6 and 9, and it was hard with them, but it's working. You got to work at it every single day. You got to work on yourself, and it's going to test your patience. But you have to build this up. You have to build them up every single day, because it's a war out there. No man is safe from, right? No man at all. What's up? Okay, I'm making a video. Are you? Do I have my report? How many questions? 5. How many Reggie got? 8. All right. How many you got? You have 9. Okay. As you see, they're doing a report right now on a snow day. So that's what we do. Yes. You have 9. Okay. Good. Good job. I'm gonna quiz you when you get up out of here. All right. All right. This is what we do here. But it's not easy. You gotta change things about yourself. You know, if you want to be in your own world, you gotta understand that you're avoiding your child. You're letting somebody else create your children's world. You avoid them, somebody else is not going to avoid them on that TV or in school. But you gotta understand, somebody's going to raise your children. Whether it's you or the TV, you be the judge. Whether it's you, TV, hip hop, tell me. But somebody's gonna raise them or her. So besides that, this is Coach Reg, aka Mr. Intensity. And my job is to invoke thought, help. Oh, one more thing. School lunches. Let's talk about school lunches really, really, really fast. If you look at school lunches in Italy, France, and all the other places, you'll understand how the school lunches are very, very nutritious. And you understand what they're doing to our children in America. So if you understand this stuff, you'll understand that you must make them lunch and govern what goes into their bodies, because you don't know what they're putting in that food at school. So if you don't want to make school lunch every day, that's on you. We make school lunch around here every single day. Yup, it takes another 5 minutes out of my day, but I think it's 5 minutes that you know that no poison is going to your children. I'm sure you're going to do that. So that's what we do. Besides that, this is Coach Reg, aka Mr. Intensity. And my job is to invoke thought and help awaken the world's consciousness one person at a time. Hopefully that person is you.